Good Saturday morning. I'm KHU11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are starting off foggy here across the Houston area, especially for the south of downtown Houston. This is a look at Galveston right now. You're just able to see not really anything off in the distance there as that fog is pretty dense. Current temperature right now along the coast at 60 degrees. Calm winds. You have those elevated dew points. This is really causing that moisture to surge back in to the picture. So as we look at our current visibility right now, if you are making your way across town, I think for the most part, areas north of Houston, you're not seeing really any foggy issues, but we're seeing that from downtown to the Galveston area, even Pearland, Sugarland, visibility between a half a mile or less in those locations. So be extra cautious if you are driving across town or across towards the coast, because we're expecting those foggy conditions to last at least until 9 o'clock this morning. So dense fog advisory in place at least until 10 a.m. Live look right now here across the Texas Medical Center. You're able to see that's Herman Park right there. So that fog is just sort of shifting around a bit here across the Houston area for this morning. 59 degrees, Galveston at 60, Brenham at 51, Tomball 58. We have a lot of activities going on this weekend here across Houston, especially as we kick off rodeo season. We have the rodeo parade happening. We have the rodeo run, which is happening in just a little under an hour, which we're going to see those temperatures in the 60s. By parade start time, temps are going to be about 70 degrees. I think we're seeing a little cloud cover, so I think we're going to be probably in the upper 60s. I think that the sun, as the sun rises, we will start seeing those temperatures warm on up with high temps topping out in the 80s for today. So if you're looking to go to the cook-off, especially for tonight or this evening, we are expecting those temps to remain in the 70s and 60s. But other than that, a weekend forecast, we are expecting a rather fantastic weekend with highs in the 80s, lows in the 50s and 60s with lots of sunshine. So overnight lows dropping into the 60s once again. We could still see some more of that patchy fog in some of those locations, but we're going to still be influenced by this high pressure system, at least for this weekend. That's going to keep things mostly quiet and calm. We're going to see just really quiet outlook as we head into at least Monday into Tuesday. However, things start changing as we head into next week. So we're looking at the potential for some possible storms with our next system that's going to be arriving. You have a low pressure system approaching from the west. That's going to bring a cold front. Models are not really tapping on to whether or not this front is going to make it this far south into Houston. So there is still some disagreement there's still some uncertainty on whether or not we're going to see some of that storm activity here for the middle of next week. But we do have that rain potential there, especially for central and north Texas. But spring storms may return as we head into next week. And just keep in mind that as we head into these warmer days, we usually are starting to get into that severe weather season for us, especially as we head into the months of March and April. Our drought index is showing some increasing drought conditions, especially west of Houston. So we do need the rain to just sort of get us out of this drought that's currently creeping upon us here. But no water restrictions. This is just kind of showing you the areas that haven't really received much of that rain or precipitation within the last few weeks, and so definitely that's what this drought index really does show. So when we get these dry cold fronts, I think we usually start looking at that elevated fire weather threats, but I think for the most part the next several days we're going to see those cold fronts just really not make it this far south into the Houston area as we head into the next maybe a couple of weeks or so. So as we look at our temperature outlook, a large portion of the country remaining warmer than normal from March 6th to March 10th. So it's very well likely that we're going to continue to see these warming conditions across the area. So as we head into the next 10 days, high temps remaining in the 80s. Our average high for this time of year usually 70 degrees. Models are hinting at another cold front on the way by next weekend. That could have also some rain chances with it. But it's still too far out to tell whether or not this is going to bring us that rain chance. But we are expecting those temperatures to remain mostly just pleasant. A little bit of a quiet outlook for the weekend into the start of next week. It's not really going to be until Wednesday and Thursday where we're going to start seeing those high temps in the 80s with that storm activity moving on in. So definitely keep that in mind for next week, that we are expecting those conditions to remain mostly just a bit just calm, but then we'll start seeing that rain chance increase for Wednesday. Here's a live look at Galveston. Once again, we are looking at those foggy conditions for a large portion of our area. And so the National Weather Service is keeping that dense fog advisory in effect at least until 10 o'clock this morning. And so we are starting off a little bit hazy out there, especially across Houston. 60 degrees right now in Galveston. We see the visibility pretty low, especially along the coast. We have it about a half a mile or less out at Hobby Airport, even Sugarland at a half a mile or less. We had that picture of what was happening out at the Texas Medical Center. This is really really showing the foggy conditions, especially out in the Med Center south of downtown Houston. This is looking at Herman Park. Usually you'll see the medical center buildings off in the distance, but we are really just looking at a rather foggy start to our morning here as we kick off our rodeo season for the rodeo parade that's going to be happening at 10 a.m. this morning. And so as we look at our parade forecast for today, we are expecting it to be mostly pleasant out there in terms of our temperatures. We are looking at a little bit of a humid outlook for the first half of our morning, but our parade start time, I think the sun's going to start peeking out here pretty shortly, especially as we progress through the rest of the morning. So we're going to see those temps in the 70s, not too hot, not too cold. There has been some years that we've seen a pretty cold start to our rodeo parade, but I think this year it's going to be a fantastic time to be outdoors and to head over to downtown Houston to enjoy our Houston rodeo parade that's going to be kicking off this morning. So heading home by the afternoon hours, 2 p.m. with the temperature getting up to about 81 degrees. I think for the most part we are expecting those record temperatures that we saw yesterday. I don't think we're going to be that hot, but we are expecting this high pressure system just to kind of start building in and keeping things a little bit calm for this weekend. So looking at our weekend forecast, that high pressure still building on in across portions of Mexico and Texas. This is going to really be influencing the fact that we do not have that rain outlook for the next few days here, but we will see the arrival of this next weather system next week that is going to bring that rain outlook for a large portion of the state, especially as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. So a frontal boundary moving in for next week. Models are not really agreeing on whether or not this front is going to be moving closer to Houston. So if we usually what happens is that that front makes its way south, they will start increasing that rain chance. But right now, for the most part, models are keeping that rain activity well north of town. So we're just going to have to keep Wednesday, Thursday on the back of our minds that we might see some rain for the middle of next week. So definitely expecting those conditions to remain still mostly calm and quiet, especially for the rest of our weekend. As far as your 7-day forecast, highs in the 80s, lows in the 60s, lots of sunshine for this weekend into Monday. We could still have some foggy starts to our mornings, but we will be tracking that rain chance by Wednesday and Thursday. And as always, we can find the latest weather forecast on KHOU.com. I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez. Make sure to join me and anchor Trace and Bragg for KHOU 11 morning news this morning in a little less than an hour at 9 a.m. Have a good rest of your day and stay safe out there.